first Monday of May. So, to all of our social friends who are Hispanic or Spanish, Feliz Cinco de Mayo. To the rest of us, hey, happy Monday. Happy May 5th. And if you might be stopping somewhere later today, um, to get your fair share of tacos, enchiladas. I'm going to say this. Hey, I'm jealous. I don't know that I can do that myself today. I got a little bit of a full schedule. So with all of that said, let me add in my co-host Cataline into the conversation. And before we do so, let's get his fan base to give him a warm, round, big set of hand claps, high fives, and attaboys. Here we go. Cataline, your fan base is calling your name, as they should.
You always surprise me, and I love my fan base. That's awesome. Good job.
especially that young guy. The young guy, probably one of your followers, probably one of your first time buyers or flippers, doing his little dance, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have a couple of those. We have a couple of those. And they're great. Yes.
And that guy was probably doing his little dance of excitement because, well, let's be real. If he was your virgin flipper, he followed your lead, he followed your plan, you just put some money in his pocket.
Yeah. That was one of the courageous few that bought 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and now they're sitting on decent equity, and they've added some value to the properties, and now they're pretty happy and excited, knowing that they were courageous to take the step, not listen to the negative media and all the negative talk that's happening out there. And
Right.
I always say, like, make sure you get your news from people that are actually buying real estate, owning real estate, and actually are playing the real estate game. So that's my guy. That's the guy that listened to the advice.
Yeah. So for our social friends, that's all of you, right? Who are, I don't know, maybe you're playing a little bit of hooky here on a Monday early lunchtime frame. All of you. So Cataline, can you lead us off in today's live stream with your perception, your look of what is going on with the real estate market and trends right now?
You know what? The Chicago real estate market locally, it's still suffering. We don't have enough supply. Yeah. Everything that comes out, and again, I say it because I play the game. Any good listing that's priced well, it has not one but multiple offer situations where if you want to buy, you need to be willing to go above the asking price. And I have clients that come in extremely aggressive, and we have different scenarios on how to win. But the overall arching, real estate market is in Chicago locally, is that we don't have enough supply. There's some, in the news, CNBC, whatever, they're talking that the supply is growing. Not in Chicago, guys. We did not build enough. We don't have enough to keep pace with the demand that's out there.
Yeah, I think it's easy to hear and just remember a sliver of those talking heads and their comments. I'm sure there is a growing supply in other geographies, like, let's pick on them, like Florida, like Texas. The momentum of growth, right? When there are fast ride-ups toward a peak, sometimes there can be a fast slowdown toward a valley, right?
Absolutely. Austin, they built like crazy, and they're still building it, right? And it did have a huge upswing during COVID, and you know what, they've made a lot of money, and the prices appreciated, I don't know, like 10 times faster than Chicago.
Right.
Now you reach a peak, you're going to go down, right? Same thing with Florida. Look at what's going on. Homes, people think that you cannot even insure homes in Florida, or if you do, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. So people are slowing down a little bit. And guess what? Chicago has always been a slow and steady.
Slow and steady.
We don't have that supply because we never had the same explosion that these markets had in the past, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree with you because over the past couple of weeks, past couple of weekends, there was one weekend in particular, Kathleen, we were coming back from running some errands, and I was avoiding the main drag, the main streets, cutting through some neighborhood streets. And as I was driving down this one street, probably 5 minutes from my home, I said to my wife, who was in the car with me, I said, "Hey, look at all those people in front of that property." She said, "Yeah, what's going on?" She said, "Are they throwing a party?" I said, "No, it's a set of buyers looking at this property because the property was just for sale." So it was what I call the train of buyer tours.
It's absolutely real. It's absolutely real. We just had an open house on Sunday. We had a bunch of people come through, and we already have multiple offers. We are calling for highest and best to by tomorrow at 12. So it's real. We see it. It's happening, right? So whoever holds the supply, holds the keys to the market, which is great.
True that. So let's now pivot and move the conversation this way. Beyond you giving value, helping your clients get to their outcome of selling a home, buying a home, that's the traditional pillar of your real estate business. I know for a fact that you also help investors acquire properties that might be the so-called not so pretty, ugly duckling, distress, and then you help guide them to add value to it and then resell for a profit, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So right now, for that segment of your business, there's still good activity? That's a question.
So we are putting a lot of efforts into that. So we have different channels of marketing and grabbing, those off-market sellers. The most recent one that actually worked was through postcards. I have two off-market deals that the owner called me over the weekend and said, "Hey, I'm ready to take a cash offer." So right before getting into this conversation with you, I was running the numbers. They're absolutely, a lot of times I get leads on the south and southwest side of Chicago, but this one is probably it's going to fly off the handle. One is a 2-flat Greystone in Wrigleyville. Wow. And then the other one is a single family home in East Ravenswood, which are the hottest areas of Chicago right now because there's absolutely no supply. And I was just running the numbers, and I'm like, do I have enough money to buy them both, if I need a joint venture? So it's very, very, very beautiful. There, when it comes to your point, it's kind of like hunting for whales or going for the big fish. This is not a fast game, right? It's, you plant the seeds, you send the postcards, you make the phone calls. We have all of this marketing that goes out, and then we analyze whatever comes over and then whatever makes sense. But there's still people that want to sell, and there's still people that want to move, and there's still people that want a fast cash deal instead of dealing with, the consumer on the market side.
True. And you and I both know through some industry stats that right now the segment of sellers, the largest segment of sellers and buyers are this segment. The baby boomers who need to get to their next chapter. And let's be real. This is not to make them feel bad, right? This segment of baby boomers may have owned their large home for 15 plus years. Maybe they got tired of glamming it up, which is a polite way of saying there may be some maintenance that's deferred, or the decor is from the late 70s and 80s. You know what I mean?
Yes, 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 and yes, yes.
Okay. And so for that type of baby boomer selling a nice property in a good to great location, you're absolutely right. Those are good candidates for a flip.
The best, the
Yeah.
absolute best. They they don't want to deal with the rehab. They don't want to spruce it up. They just want to be done, right? Then they have money saved. They they're ready to move on. And nowadays, the best way I can explain this with Amazon, you click a button on your phone, and 5 minutes later, basically, you have the package at the door. So a lot of these clients don't want to go through the delayed gratification. They're like, I worked my whole life. I'm tired of waiting. Give me the money. I want to move now, and I want to be in my nice, beautiful condo by the lake where it's a co-op. Everything is taken care of. I have a maintenance person, door person, elevator, and I no longer have to go up and down the stairs. And I want to relax for the whatever remaining of my life I have. So those are my ideal clients, and those are the people that we're always looking for.
Yeah. So let's now talk about a lot of your activity where you've bought one of these properties from a baby boomer, a little beat up, a little distressed, a lot dated, and either you yourself or your client, your investor client, or your joint venture partnerships, you guys have improved it, right? I want to bring up a list of it's a long list, so I'm going to kind of scroll through it back and forth, okay?
Let's go.
Of improvements, right? Let me kind of move up and down it and ask you, Kathleen, what usually, when it comes to a flip, is the biggest bang for the buck? Is it an addition, or is it just major mechanicals, cosmetic stuff? What's your opinion to that?
So I would say always biggest bang you're going to get kitchen and bathrooms. Okay.
Yeah.
That is your, number one and number two, put it this way, but I would put both on those things, right? Number one, number two, kitchen, bathrooms. Then secondly, you want to make sure they have a beautiful painted home. They have a beautiful floor. People love seeing that, right? So if I'm going too fast, let me know. But the way I look at it is people, buy for what it looks like, right? So a kitchen and a bathroom will always sell. And, I always tell people, if people can see themselves in the kitchen entertaining, then it's sold, right? They can see their family done, right? So that's number one thing. And if you give them a rehab, then you got to make sure that everything is working correctly. So as you said, plumbing, electric, HVAC, I always attack those and make sure that, during an inspection, and whoever buys a home for me does not have, a headache, right? Because guess what? No matter how much flippers try to hide, electrical wires or anything like that, they will still come up in the inspection report, right? So those are big return on your money. I would say. I always say, make sure that you have a safe, secure, beautiful looking house, and that's it. Adding square footage, or as you said, addition, it only yields return if the neighborhood and your competition has more square footage. But if you have all the houses in the neighborhood are 1,500 square feet, and you're going to try to come up now with a 2,500 square foot home, and try to create market for something that does not exist, that's a big risk. And I promise you, chances are that you will not take your money back. So those pioneers a lot of times get crushed, right? So you got to be careful when you come up with, innovation and you try to be a pioneer, that you have enough money that if that doesn't work, it doesn't crush you. So never do a pioneer type of adventure when you don't have enough money in the bank account to give you the margin of error.
Yeah. So social friends, audience members who are watching this live stream, or if you're getting this as an on-demand recording, you might have heard this before. What you don't want to do is commit to that property where it's the largest property on the block, and on top of it, the most expensive. Because sometimes by doing it that way, your thinking is, well, that's what I want. I get that. But at the end of the day, looking ahead, you have to think about, what is your next chapter? What is your exit strategy when you're ready to kind of depart from that property? Let's now welcome our guest today, Kathleen, into our live stream. And by the way, this guest that I'm adding to our conversation is someone that I was recently introduced to. He really made me laugh, Kathleen, because when I started just an audio conversation with him, I said to him, I am told you would be a great guest in, video content. And I asked, I said, have you done this before? He said, yes, many times. And I was kind of shocked, Kathleen. I'll tell you why. Because this guy owns and runs a business that does this.
Ooh, flooring,
all types of flooring. But here is the secret, Kathleen. You'll probably nod your head a little bit. You and I both know most great professionals, business people from that industry, sometimes they can't walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time, right? And so, exactly. So when I started my conversation with him, oh my gosh, pleasant surprise. He can walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time. And right then and there, I said, you absolutely will be a great guest. So with all of that said, no further ado, let's add him to the conversation.
Woo.
Hey
guys.
Matt, welcome.
Yeah. Not only can our guest, Matt Pear, walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time, but as you can see, social friends, he can do a great guest appearance in a live stream while he's mobile.
Can make anything work. Everything is figure outable. How about that?
I love that. Figure outable. Okay. So Matt, let me bring up what I think we had shared before with the audience members. There's this long list of home improvement projects, right? Some to many that involve you, your expert crew, and the outcome that you create, which is, guess what? Flooring.
Yes. So I would 100% agree with Kathleen. Kitchens, bathrooms, flooring, paint just goes, I mean, you're going to paint a house like that. That's just kind of common sense.
Yeah.
But I also think millwork, like trim, doors, because you could have if you have a really nice kitchen and a really nice bathroom and really nice flooring, but then you have trim from 1992, that's not really, it's the flow of the house that makes the feel.
Right. So one phrase I remember you dropped in front of me, and I'm going to replay it every time I see you because it's so appropriate, which is, when it comes to flooring, because you want to do it right, it's something that will last forever. And for sure, you don't want to do it wrong because you don't want to spend the time and money to rip it out. And that is, when it comes to flooring, do it right, do it best so that it lasts 20 plus years, right?
Right. And so flooring is never going to be cheap, even though flooring's not necessarily expensive. It just takes up such a large footprint in your house.
Yeah.
That, the cost is going to be, a little bit. So I tell people all the time, the install price is the same no matter what you pick. So let's, even if you got to save up for another 6 months or whatever, let's get you the floor that you're going to have for the next 20 years.
Okay. So talk to me about this. With your independent business, you're not a franchisee of some national chain. Does most of your work involve like remodeling, property flipping, as opposed to like builder new construction? Talk to us about that.
The majority of it I'd say is, lived in homes already. So remodels, we do a little bit of commercial, we do a little bit of new construction. I'll tell you what's wild about new construction is we've got 2 jobs going right now, and they are forced to use the flooring that the builder's supplying. They do not want it. So
Oh,
literally the day before they move in, we're going in there to rip out all this brand new flooring to install new flooring for them in their house. So that's kind of a wild thing. And I even tried talking to the builder for them, and they won't have it.
oh no. Well, I think I know this. When it comes to new construction versus remodeling or flipping, there's more of an art, more of a skill when it's not brand new construction, because it's kind of like opening up Pandora's box. You never know what you're going to get. You have to be a little bit more skilled to make it look good.
Right.
Do it the right way.
Yeah, you only get one chance to do things right, and that pretty much goes with everything in life.
Yeah, yeah. So Cataline, what questions might you have for Matt as far as like some of the projects that you've worked on? Are there some crazy flooring ideas that you thought about?
I'm a big fan of hardwood floors, right? So I know nowadays it's the new trend with luxury vinyl, and everybody wants that. But I'm a really big fan of hardwood floors. So anytime I advise my clients or I do a flip, I actually budget for hardwood floors, because I always tell people, if the trend changes, you can always resend it, restain it, put another coat of whatever finish on it, and then you have brand new floors. Whereas with luxury vinyl, if you don't like it in 5 years and now the trend is darker or lighter, you have to take it out and put it back together. So I'm a big fan of hardwood floors. What do you think, Matt, in your experience nowadays? Is it still the case where hardwood floor is still super popular, or do you feel like vinyl is taking over?
Um, Vinyl is a rough word. Let's go with engineered vinyl. Okay, because
Engineered, yes,
pure
yes.
vinyl is not so great.
Yeah.
To be honest, if you have kids and pets, I don't recommend hardwood nowadays. It just doesn't hold up. Part of it's they grow the wood too fast. Part of it's they take the good chemicals out. But if you don't have kids and you don't have pets, or you have one little dog, by all means, like hardwood will hold up just fine for you nowadays. And there's a lot of times that we'll put a vinyl right over the top of people's hardwood nowadays. And that way, like you just said, if the trend changes or whatever, that's still there and you can always go back to it. So now if you're going to use a good product, that's what it all comes down to. If you're going to use, some junk, you're going to get what you pay for. But you can't go wrong if you do hardwood. I'm not here to say that's wrong. By all means, you can't go wrong. You just might be refinishing it a little more than you think if you have kids and pets nowadays.
True that. True that.
Great.
And you're spot on, Matt. Your business, Cataline's business, my business. It's always about the quality. It's the quality of the service and the outcome that we deliver to our clients, right? So
Absolutely.
there you have it, social friends. If you are making your decision based on dollar signs alone, hate to offend you, but I'm gonna offend you. It's a bad decision. So Matt, as we wrap up this live stream, can you drop more of what people should know about your business? It is not just hardwood floors that you provide as a solution and a service, right? You do tile, carpet, everything, right?
Correct. We are a full-blown flooring store. We only carry quality products. So anything you pick, there is basically no difference in quality. It all comes with the same warranty, same everything. So you can pick, with confidence. Anything that's in your budget is going to last. And our whole goal is to give everybody a 20-year floor. And the only thing we can't guarantee a 20-year floor on is hardwood because of the kids, the pets. Your floor is going to last you 20 years. It's just how many times do you have to refinish it in between.
True that. And then I love how you remind me what I need to know about your business and your services, which is, this is everything that we do. And then your little catchphrase is, we provide, what is it, south of I-80 pricing.
South of I-80 pricing. Everybody gets the same price. It doesn't matter if you live in an $80,000 condo or a $10 million house. Everybody gets the same price.
Yeah. And I know for sure that is how Catalin runs his business as well. The attention you deserve, friends, whether you are selling, buying, or flipping, is the same from his team, because it's always about your outcome. So, social friends, how can you get in touch with Catalin and myself and Matt? We will gladly link you up with Matt if you are looking for some new floors, or if you're going to do like these clients are doing. They're buying new construction. They're going to rip out brand new floors and drop in the other kind, whatever. All you need to do, social friends, is this. Scan the QR codes. Well, hang on. Scan the QR codes that you see here. We will gladly start a conversation with you. Both Catalin and myself are easily available, capable of having an intimate conversation with you. All you need to do, social friends, whether you are selling, buying, or flipping, is scan the QR codes that you see here. And along the way, if you need to have a conversation with Mr. Floor for You, Matt Pear, we'll get him on the phone as well, because one of us has him on speed dial. So, Music Posse, I'm going to ask you to play us out as we end today's live stream of Flipping That House. See you all in the next episode.